Alright, we're gonna just start it off with USD CAD and trade recap. We did take a loss in here. I think I struggled a little bit with the mapping out of this structure down here. It's a little bit weird, right? We had the boss there, we had this movement down, right? Boss there, this is like internal, boom. Once it turns, remember also internal, I map on the right side of the low. This is the low, so I map the internal on the right side of the low. So if we just this as an example, right? If we are following low lows, then I clear and high. This was a high, right? That got broken there, which means this is a low. This was the high. Boom, pop. We get another break there. We get another break here, and then moves down. Right, creates a new low, and then I'd map the internal on the right side of the low, right? But now my question was this enough for a swing pullback compared to this as swing and that as swing, or was this just like an internal move like that, and this inside here is like the internal of the internal? Sounds a little bit weird for me, man. Mapping this out was a little bit weird. I think even if I try to put into context like the swing and this internal in here, yeah, it was a little weird, right? Iffy maybe. As much as I don't like the iffy trades, still a clear move up and then a pullback. Maybe this is the end of the pullback to clearly move up again, right? That's the thought process. But then I looked on the 4-hour, and then this is as I entered the trade as well. I looked at the 4-hour, but I was already in the trade and I didn't want to delete it. And then if we look at the structure on the 4-hour, right? The 4-hour internal is bearish, right? And then this is somewhat of an internal because it's a clear move up, down, right? And then there was a sweep of this, right? A sweep of this, a sweep of this low as well. But on the M15, what I would usually do, right, is if the market looks like this, right, it's moving down and then up and then down, and then let's put this right here. For me to trade within the POI that is down here, I need to see a breaking close here, right? Break above, close, and close above. Then I'm willing to take that. But this time I did not. Well, not this time, but I guess I didn't really think about it this way on the 4-hour. It just kind of flowed, right? Because I'm basically trading this POI here, which did not break and close above, which sort of invalidates looking for buys in here, like in a technical kind of way. I think this is where the discretion and whatnot comes in. It's a little bit of a weird trader. It's not the worst in the world, right? You had an eyeballs here, but another sign that I don't like is we had a break and then the immediate pullback like this. This is never a good sign. Break and immediate pullback is never a good sign unless it happens in like a very like if it was bearish and you had this, right, but you're trying to follow the bearish move, it's a little better, unlike trying to stop this whole trend with this little break, right? That it just doesn't make sense. So I guess there were negatives to the trade, but nonetheless, I was not happy but comfortable taking the trade in here, right? Because we do have an IBOS, right? Is this the start of the pullback? Question mark. I had this zone drawn out here as a zone that should hold if this is gonna continue higher. The zone does hold, right? Creates a nice huge spike back up. And then we get a chop and a close there, which then means this is the POI trade from. And then I took the M15 risk trade in there, and then it results in a loss. So not bad, I'd say. Like it's not a horrible trade, but it's also not the best, right? Looking at all the other confluences, not the best, but certainly not the worst as well, right? On another day, it does work out. Unfortunately, today is not that day. Also, the iffiness of the structure that just didn't help at all. Really did not help at all. But anyway, GU basically was bobbing around within this internal range up until it broke out right here. So we'll just wait for whatever happens tomorrow in here. But obviously I was not looking to buy or sell down here because this was the initial move, right? Came up, so my expectation was for it to break this low. Doesn't break the low, but at the same time it's bearish, so I wouldn't obviously want to sell this here because it failed on the first move. I'm not looking for sells and I'm not looking for buys because we just stuck within the range, so rather not look for buys. And there wasn't any clear buy in there too, so that helps. Euro USD same rangy, and then just parabolic move up. This is like a setup for like next week, right? Moves like this, maybe comes back, and then you look for something in the next week. Tomorrow I doubt we'll have any great moves. And then EJ, not EU, had something a little bit more interesting. If it would load, if it would kindly load me with its pause. Okay, what time is this? 11. Yeah, this one is London session. We just had the break of the 4 hour, but on the 4 hour itself it had not printed a closing candle. You can see it broke out but didn't close above, so coming into the buyers down here, it was a question of, do I get like an LC2A, right? I think LC2A is the safer play in terms of 5 minutes. We didn't get an LC2A, instead we ended up getting an LC1 with the liquidity here, right? You have an LC1 there, but yeah, I ended up not taking this. Can I find my liquidity, please? Let's sweep it there. I even wrote this up as it was happening. It was there, literally there. I wrote this there. I could use LC1 because of the order flows moving very bullish high, so I can be a bit more aggressive, but for the sake of a higher strike rate over quantity of trades, I'll stick to LC2A, which didn't present in here, only LC1, but I generally don't use LC1, so I just didn't bother taking this one. And then it does end up working out cool as it works out. I finally get a break and close, I believe. Actually the break and close would be here on the 4 hour. Then I was looking to follow the momentum here. Alright, come a little bit close and then we just keep moving up, so really nothing I could have done in there. So yeah, decent day. We'll see you tomorrow. Peace.